Good morning. Anita Dawn here from Cell Pilates, going live to you today, this morning, and every morning this week at 8 o'clock. I have some little mobility snacks for you, and today we're looking at hip mobility. So important, particularly as we get older, not just because we want to move around during our daily life, but also if we want to put our socks on, reach down, tie our shoelaces up. And we need hip mobility for everything. And the thing is that these days we're sitting down too much. So really important that we do mobilize those hips several times a week. What I'm going to be using today is a foam roller for balance. If you don't have a foam roller, then have a chair. If you have two chairs, that's great. And then you don't have to keep moving the chair around. But we will do one side and then the other side. I do hope you can hear me. So we're going to start off with some standing mobility. If standing isn't appropriate for you, then do the same seated in a chair. You might also need a Pilates block for when we sit on the floor and a cushion for the head when you're lying down. You could have bare feet, socks, or shoes. Stability is important. I love my Vibram 5 fingers. They give me a bit of stability and mobility through the feet, which is really important. So let's take that support. And I do recommend that you do have some support. It's not about balance, it's about mobility in the hip joint, okay? So have that off to the side, hands on the hips. We're going to start off with some hip hitches. So you're lifting the heel and drawing the hip bone up towards the rib cage. Last time. Soften the knees. Stay facing me. Let's tilt the pelvis backwards and forwards. Slowly to start with. And in fact, we're going to keep the whole thing pretty slow today. 2 more times. Last time. Come back to the center. So our feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Gently mobilize. So I'm mobilizing the femur, the leg, the thigh muscle into the hip joint there and round the other way. Beautiful. Come back to the center. Take your chair. Take your foam roller if you've got one. It's just easier to move from side to side. I'm going to have it slightly off to the corner there. I'm going to take my weight onto my supporting leg. I want to make sure I'm lifting up out of that hip and the knee is soft. So the first thing that we're going to do is some knee lifts. So we're going to lift that knee up and place it down. Lift it up and place it down. Beautiful. 2 more times. Last time. We'll do a little bit of pedaling in between. Then we're going to take that knee to the side. Again, lifting up out of the supported leg, nice and tall, through the crown of the head. Only lift it as high as you can keep those hips still. And release. Beautiful. Always good to release that supporting hip. Now we're going to do some external rotation. Again, get that nice postural alignment and hands on the hips. So lift. If you haven't done this before, start off slow. We're going to do 4 of these. I think that was 4, but just in case, 1 more and then pedal it through. Fabulous. Same side. So we're nearly done on this side. We'll do the same on the other side, lifting up out of that supporting hip. And we're going to tap forward, semicircle round, and back to the center. Tap, circle, and center. 2 more. Tap, circle, center. Last time. Tap forward, circle round, and release. Ready to do it all on the other side. So if you can take your chair around to the other side, it's really worth doing that rather than turning and facing the other way. I would like you to carry on seeing, looking. So lifting up out of that right supporting leg, drawing the knee in gently towards the chest. Keeping that nice upright posture. 1 more. Beautiful. A little bit of pedaling in between. And we'll take the knee to the side. So aiming to stand tall. Keep the pelvis still. That might be 4. My counting's always off. And pedal. Beautiful. Going on to the external rotation. Again, hand on the hips, nice just to stabilize the pelvis. Let's go. Take it up and down. 2. Good. 2 more. So you're working that supporting leg as well. Last time here. And release. Beautiful. Let's go internal. I have a feeling we didn't do internal on the other leg. So I'm going to do it when we finish this side, just in case. It is early in the morning. And then pedal 3. Ready for the tap forwards and the semicircle round. So again, weight back onto that supporting leg. Tap, semicircle, and center. Tap, semicircle, so leg goes behind, and center. 2 more, don't forget to breathe, guys. And last time, try not to turn your foot out like I did. And then have a little bit of a wiggle there. So I'm going to change this back to the other side, and we're going to do internal rotation on this side. If we did it, no problem, just have a drink. It's a little bit harder, isn't it, than the external. 2 more. Beautiful. Last time. Excellent. Then we're going to do extension at the hip. So hands on the chair gently. I'm going to have the roller slightly leaning forward. I wouldn't lean the chair forward. And I'm going to take my front leg. So stand on the other leg that you've just, not the one that you've just been standing on. I'm going to lean forward from the hips, and then I'm going to see how I've got that nice straight line from head through hip to back foot. Let's move away a little bit here. All right, make sure the hips are facing forwards. Engage your core a little bit, keeping that spine in neutral. So a little lift and lower. Exhale, lift and lower. Make sure you don't feel it in the back. 1 more on this side. And release, a little bit of pedaling through, release through the hip. Ready for the other leg. So leaning forward into your support, other leg standing, reaching back. Engage your core. Here we go, lift. The roller doesn't give a lot of stability when we do this. I could have used the chair. Beautiful, last time. Excellent. All right, we're going to go down onto the floor. So perhaps take your block and your pillow with you, and I'm going to get my mat. Hope you guys are okay. Drink a little bit of water. It's difficult, isn't it, to stay hydrated in colder weather, but it's not too cold today. coming down onto the floor. So how do we do that? It's nice to do a lunge. Take the weight onto my hands and gently pop my hip down. I'm going to face sideways. I'm going to take my hands behind, fingers facing outwards, find my neutral spine, and my head is balanced nicely on top of the shoulders, not dropping back. Take your feet to the outside of the mat, pelvis in neutral, make sure you don't collapse down. We're going to alternate legs. So I'm going to take the back leg gently to the center and back up. Front leg. By all means, go slower if you need to. So I know if you've had hip replacements, then internal rotation, you want to be careful on that and just do a small range. Good, let's do 2 more sets. How's that feeling? We're just doing internal rotation here, seated. Beautiful, last time. Then we're going to come down on our sides. This is where you might need the pillow for your head. I like to support my head with my arm. I'm going to have those legs at 45 degrees at the hips and the knees, waist lifted and hand in front. We're going to do external rotation. Feet stay together. You might know this as the clam, but we're not really doing the clam. So this is more about mobility than strengthening, although you are working a little bit into the hip. Good, last time. And gently release. Let's do that on the other side. So gently press yourself up. Take the head around the other end, or the feet. Find your neutral spine. Might have to modify this because of my mic. 45 degrees. Make sure your feet aren't behind you and the back is arching. And lift the waist. Feet stay together. Let's go. Open and close. Open and close. See if you can keep that hip still. If you're not quite sure whether it's still or not, pop the hand, but a little bit of movement is okay. Beautiful. Breathe out and in. Last time. Excellent. And then gently press yourself up in the seated position. We're going to go on and do some stretches now. We're going to start off seated and then we'll do some lying. So this is where you might want to use the block. This is also fairly challenging for some people, so I'm going to give you an option. I'm sorry, I'm out of the picture there. So I'm going to turn sideways. So I've got what we call diamond position with the legs, soles of the feet together, and just sitting up tall and just gently easing into that hip stretch, keeping the back nice and straight. Okay, so you can do that as well, but this one is fairly challenging. It's the mermaid stretch. You could modify with your legs in this position, but that's not much of a challenge for your hips. So I'm going to come here and we've got black shoes. You can't really see that, can you? So the aim is to get both sit bones on the ground. If that's particularly uncomfortable, then I'm going to take my block, place it under the sit bone that's on the ground, and you can see that I'm sitting pretty comfortably here. I'm going to do a nice stretch over to the side, supported, stretching out through that hip and then coming up. I'm just going to hold on to the shin here, inhale up and exhale over to the other side. Beautiful, and release. And we're going to do that on the other side. So I'm going to remove the block. In a longer class, I spend a little bit more time doing a few more repetitions, but this is just a fairly quick morning mobilizer for the hip joints and stretch. So I'm just going to check how I feel without the block first. So I definitely need that under the hip that was on the floor, and then that just brings your pelvis into a nice comfortable position, hopefully. It's quite challenging for me, but I know that this is really good for my hips. So I make sure I do it on a regular basis. And then I'm gently going to hold on to the shin so I can just lift up, and a little bit of help with that left arm up and over. Beautiful. A few more stretches coming down onto the floor. This is where you might need the pillow under your head. Come down onto your side first, roll over onto the back. Left leg is extended, right knee into the chest. Oh, that feels good, doesn't it? And then ease that knee out to the side. Breathing, keep your pelvis on the floor. Same knee, bring it to the center. Now gently ease it towards the opposite shoulder. Beautiful. And then release that leg, slide the other leg in. Lower back is towards the mat. This is also a good lower back stretch. Take that knee out to the side. External rotation. So we're stretching a little bit now rather than mobilizing. Ease that knee across to the opposite shoulder. Keep the knee into the chest, bring the other knee in as well. Little circles round. Maybe a little bit of mobility in the lower back and round the other way. Or keeping the lower back imprinted into the floor if that feels better for you. And then ease the knees in, stretching the lower back. A tight lower back can affect your hip mobility. And then gently release one leg down at a time. We're going to take the hips to the left side. Let's take those arms out in a T position if you've got room, and the head to the opposite position. Nice little stretch through the waist and into the hip. Everything back to the center. Knees towards the front and head towards the back. If that's uncomfortable, ease those knees towards the center. Keep the knees facing towards the screen, or bring them towards the screen. Lift yourself up and perhaps sit on the block just to finish up, just to get you a little bit mobile, moving before you start your day. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. Nice inhale and exhale. And thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. Join me tomorrow and we're going to do spinal mobility. So every day at 8 o'clock, it's about a 15-minute bite-sized mobility session aimed at 60 plus, but it doesn't matter if you're 40 or 50. If you're younger, you might find it a tad slow, but it's all good and we need to keep moving. Have a great day.